everybody, Mestre coming to you from Mestre Vibes, Tokyo, Japan. Today, welcome to episode number 60. Can you believe it? 60 episodes in. If you were listening to the earlier episodes, you know that 80% of podcasts don't make it to 20 episodes, and 90% of those that do make it to 20 don't make it to 30. So I'm feeling fantastic. And this is all a result of your kindness, your support, and your love. And more than anything, how you guys all inspire me here, especially my Patreon community that brings it all together to make this possible. Today is a special episode and a milestone. So I'm going to jump right into it. And I'm hoping that you guys get a kick out of today's episode. Today, I want to share with you the profound sense of self-introspection that I've been going through over the last 2 weeks. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago, July 7th, 1999, I came to Japan. So I don't know what it is, but I've been going through a lot of spiritual, emotional, meditative. And last week I was refurbishing my conga drums. I refurbished 3 drums, painted them really beautiful, sanded them, and did everything. And for me, that was great because it was an incredibly good chance to be meditative and to really meditate on my 25 years in Japan, but not just on my 25 years, my professional, post-college, my college, and of course, my growing up and my background since I was a kid. So a lot's been going on. If you know me, you know that the way my brain works is the process is kind of strange. I don't know if it's strange, but what I do is, for example, when I have an idea of a project that I want to complete, what I'll do is I'll work it in my head for a certain time, depending on the size of the project. For example, my first book, The Path of Capoeira, I really worked on that in my head for a couple of years. And then within 2 weeks, I think it took 11 days to write something like that. So it was really fast and I got it all out. So what I do is I process in my brain. And then when I'm ready, I just start to produce things. For example, most of the CDs that I've recorded, all seven CDs were products of processing in my brain, quickly writing down and quickly getting to the production. So between the process of my brain to final product actually goes really fast once I get started, but it's that process in my head. And that's what I've been going through over these last few weeks, especially with the profound reflection on my time here in Japan. And this has led me to think about something that I've been wanting to do, something that several friends and supporters have mentioned that might be a good project for me to do, and something that I think it might be good to add to the forum of discussion about Japan. I'm thinking right now, I'm processing in my head to write a book about my 25 years in Japan and how I see my growth, my experience, the good and the bad of Japanese culture. And the working title, it's not the final title, but kind of just to give you guys an idea. The Gaijin, which means the foreigner, 25 years of living in Japan, where I want to talk about the different aspects I've had to deal with being a non-Japanese person teaching capoeira. But more than capoeira, just my daily life, right? Sometimes, people will say like, oh, I lived in Japan for 3 years, or I lived in Japan for 2 years, but they were actually a student on a scholarship. When I've mentioned this before, that's basically more, even if you're here for 2 years, you're basically just a tourist on an extended visa. It might be an academic visa. You might think you're doing a lot. But one thing I've mentioned before, in Japan, to grow relationships takes a long time. The superficial ones are very different from the ones that people build, I would say, more than 10 years. And this happens because the Japanese culture is all about time put into a relationship more than just immediate feeling. So there's a thing, for example, they say in Japanese is a shirai and tomodachi. Shirai is like somebody, an acquaintance, and tomodachi is a friend. And this is a very different level of social responsibility within the Japanese cultural construct and dynamics. So I'm going to be writing a lot about this book, and I'm hoping to get this done. It might take about a year because there's a lot of things I want to be able to contemplate, ponder, and do the best I can to put it out. I'm going to be writing this from my perspective. First is I grew up, Generation X, as they call it, but sometimes when I listen to other Generation X's, I kind of laugh because growing up incredibly, the way I did was a very special process for me with all the difficulties and challenges that I had growing up. And those are going to affect my, I guess, hard knocks, but also down to earth and straightforward interpretation of my 25 years in Japan. So the goal will be to give my unique insights into what it is to live in Japan, and my insights into into Japanese society and culture from my point of view. Like I said, sometimes it's going to be hard hitting and not what people think. There's a very big difference if you're here while your rosy glasses are on, while you're here going through your first, let's say there's a process, you get to your rosy glasses, they come off and you start to hate it here. And then you realize that if you don't have a reason to be here, if you don't have an anchor or some kind of something to keep you balanced here, then you really don't need to be here. And I'm going to be talking a lot about that in the book too, with experiences and stories from different points of life. I'm not trying to say that I have the whole truth, but from a cultural perspective and from a professional, cultural anthropological perspective, it's not going to be very academic, but a lot of like commentary just directly from me. And the good, the bad I've seen, and my unique perspective as to why Japan has unique challenges, social challenges, cultural challenges, and just work-life relationships, everything that I want to talk about. This book is really something that I've wanted to do for a long time. And I feel a quarter of a century is long enough, especially since I've also gone to schools here. I'm married, kids who were brought up in here, and growing a business, right? I don't work for another company. I have to create within the Japanese market my job. So a lot of these things put me really on ground zero, or boots on the ground, as we used to say, into Japanese culture. From here on out, because of this special project, and also because Patreon is such an important part of what I do, like I said, always Patreon supporters support everything I do outside of teaching my 16 classes a week. The Academia pays for itself and it's doing that, but everything else I want to do is funded by the people from my Patreon community. So the podcast I will continue to keep doing, and not only as a Mestre of Capoeira, but I'm hoping to use my Mestre of Capoeira insight, my personality as a Capoeira Mestre, to also share some unique perspectives about what I'm writing in the book, The Gaijin, because a lot of people are very interested in Japanese society and my time here in Japan. And I want to put things out that will help people better understand the challenges we all face as humans, not only as Japanese or foreigners in Japan or people around the world, but things that might be relevant to different people in different situations. And I've noticed that in the past when I write, people say, oh, I've had this similar experience, and it inspires them or gives them a chance to self-reflect and grow. And that's something that I'm always interested in doing. When I write, when I produce, everything I do is to benefit the world around me. I know some people say it's altruistic or it's maybe a scam, whatever, but what I genuinely do and what I've done for 25 years here, my whole life, is try to add to the world. And this is going to be a great process, right? During the podcast from here on out, I'll be giving you guys insights and whatnot. So what I'm thinking to do, because it's such a big difference being a supporter, and just up until now, I've put out, this will be the last time I coincide release of my podcast on YouTube with my podcast to the paying people or the supporters on Patreon. So if you're a supporter on Patreon, I will release a podcast, and then probably a month later, I'll start to release on my YouTube. So I'll schedule them all at the same time. But this is just a way, hopefully, that will motivate people to understand how much work goes into this. And if they want to become Patreon supporters for as little as $3, $5, of course, 10 and $25 and $50 a month supporters also are available. And I'm almost to my goal of how many supporters I'd like to get. If I could get about 14 more, 15 more $50 a month supporters, I would be set. So about 30 more $25 a month, and I'd be set. But that would give me a level of independence and freedom that would be in, say, we'd be talking about like Europe. I could go to Europe. I could go to the United States more often. I could travel in Asia more often. I could go and share my love and passion of capoeira. And if you know what I do, you know that that's exactly what, I've always been deeply passionate about. So I'll make the podcast, and there's going to be a lot more behind the scenes, because there's a lot of things that happen that to prepare for everything. And there seems to be a really high interest in all those things. Okay. So this book will be an adventure unto itself. And I join you all. I welcome you all to join me in this adventure. The gaijin, 25 years of me being in Japan and my perspectives. So if you'd like to get early access to everything, the podcast, plus the update, the book itself, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. If I'm going to try to get it published, or I'll self-publish, or I'll just sell it here on my Patreon, because the truth is, at the end of the day, it all goes to helping me support what I do, all the different projects. I'm super excited because I'm also working on new music projects. My love and passion for music, if you know me, you know what I love to do. And music is such a part of my core being, especially the music of capoeira and samba and Afro-Brazilian music. I just love it, and I just can't stop. I'm working on new music tracks for a new CD project. But because of technology and more people giving me good advice, these tracks for the new one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a final CD, and I'll put that on Spotify, of course. But these tracks will be also made for my Patreon community. If you go to my Patreon community and you go to the Brazilian percussion class, the tracks will be separated so that you can play along with the tracks. So I'll have like pandero tracks, guitar, samba rhythm tracks, and percussion tracks. And these will be at different speeds and different rhythms so that you can go to the track, play along with them. Like maybe you want to play pandero, but they're done with good timing, wow, it really just started to rain a lot. And this will give you guys an opportunity to practice the music and the different things that I teach in the Brazilian percussion class, or some of the things that you've done. Again, if you're on my Patreon page and you have a question, guys, you guys mean everything to me. People donate at different levels. So it all means, it all means love to me. So if you have a question, let me know. I've got people who donate, $3, $5 a month, and they can send me videos. You never bother me. This is what I do. This is part of my online presence, my Mestre mentorship. This is all part of what I do. So feel free to send me an email, a questionnaire about anything. I live capoeira and what I do 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, 366 days a year. So if you need anything, let me know. This will lead, like I said, all these music tracks will lead to my next CD project. It's probably going to be Mestre Vibes Volume 3. And like I said, there'll be a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of extra lessons, a lot of percussion, and a lot of videos on just how to do music and improve what you do to create a lot more good energy and ashe, but to also understand, feel comfortable and confident in what you do. I've also invited some musicians to be a part of this new project. So guys, check it out and be ready for Mastery Vibes Volume 3. I also want to do one more kind of special thing. My son inspired me a lot. I want to grow my YouTube channel, and this isn't to grow it for like making money, because it's really hard to make money. First, you have to monetize. If you don't know how YouTube works, let me give you a quick understanding. So what you have to do to monetize it is you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of video plays of your videos within 1 year. So for example, right now I'm at 604 subscribers. If I get to 1,000 and then everybody plays 1 hour of my videos, then I'll be monetized. So it's kind of a challenge. It's not as easy as it sounds. I do feel it's possible. And the reason I really want to get that YouTube going, I mean, like Spotify, it'll trickle in maybe like $10 a month or whatever. But I really want access to the YouTube Live so that I can use my cell phone to make videos on YouTube Live. And this is something that I really enjoy doing because I tend to make longer videos, and I'd be able to make the video for YouTube, Instagram, all at the same time. So help me get there. Guys, if you can, spread the word about my channel. If you like my music, let the CD or the music play in the background while you're doing your things, while you're working. Mestre Vibe CDs are very tribal and Latin jazz. The Capoeira CDs, I love them. Instrumental. I was shocked because I noticed when I was looking at my YouTube channel that some of the videos are seen way more than I thought. For example, on my YouTube channel, Mestre Capoeira, some of the videos are like 40,000 plays. That kind of freaked me out because Capoeira has always been a very niche market, right? But one of my 10-minute instrumental videos has like 42,000 views. I was really shocked. And unless you're making so my son explained it to me that basically like for every 1,000 views, once you're monetized, I think depending on your channel, but you can average it about maybe $10. So 40,000 views might have been about, 40,000 views might have been about $40. I can't remember the exact number, but it's not that much. But like I said, the goal to monetize, to get to that live button so that I can do a lot of things, especially when we're doing events, I can set it up so that it'll be like a concert. And there's a couple of cultural and artistic projects that I want to do that I'd really like to have that live feature without having to go around it and figure out other ways to do it. So if you guys can help get the word out there, get people to subscribe to Mestre Capoeira on YouTube, like the videos, share the videos, listen to them. Let's get 1,000 people and 4,000 hours. So let's go. That's one of my goals before the end of the year. Now, to do that, I've decided that I'm going to hire someone who I know personally, who's been working on YouTube and monetized their own channel. And I'm going to ask him to come and help me so that I can reach my goal. And I will be using some of the funds from Patreon to compensate him. And if you've guessed it, yes, I'm going to ask my son, Dede, because he is just amazing. He monetized his channel like in 2 months for Ben 10 animation, and he's really spent the last year studying how to make videos, YouTube, AI. And I'm wondering if I were to hire him, how much he could help me to plan that whole side of the business, right? As much as I grow, the more I can do for everybody around me, because I really believe that as a mestre of capoeira, you cannot move forward alone. No one's going to be like that $1 billion mestre, but you can be someone who has enough to do with other people and invite other people to projects such as the music tracks that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to pay all the different musicians and the equipment and everything. And it all comes down to you guys supporting. So that's why this episode is so much about gaining support for Patreon, but also for the YouTube channel. So if you're on my Patreon, please become a member of my YouTube channel. If you see this on YouTube, click the like, click the subscribe, and watch, because it'll help. I got a lot of music on there, a lot of great capoeira events, kids capoeira, adults capoeira, so many good shows, everything. And if you guys support, it only helps me more and more every day. Not finally, but I guess second to last, I'm so excited to be going to the States next month to see Mestre Gallego, Mestre Benchino, and Mestre Berinjela. Who knows what else might happen while I'm there. So I'm really excited. And I will be taking the gear, all my recording equipment, my computer, my microphone, everything I need to record live. And if I can, every place I'd go, I'd like to record a little bit, direct, and help people produce some really nice music. It's going to be live music, one microphone. So I'll be setting up like a circle, a roda, and I'll be like, okay, we'll go through the music one time. I say, okay, watch your volume control. I'll give some hand signals like be careful, lower it, the tuning, all the different things that would go into a nice live music recording. And I'm really excited. If we're able to get enough music from that, who knows, that might be another capoeira album, right? So there's so many things going on, and I will be taking my equipment to Sacramento, Colorado Springs, and to Denver. And I'm hoping to be doing that a lot more in the future. So there's so many things going on and so many wonderful projects. And all of that, of course, again, back to the basics, is funded by everybody here on the Patreon community. And I know I keep saying it, but it's important that people understand that nothing is free and that everything I do, I really want to be able to continue doing. As always, I'm so grateful to everyone around me, and I will keep going where I can. And that brings me to something that I'm really happy to say. As many of you may not know, since 2021 in May, I've been helping to support Mestre Boa Gente's Academy of Capoeira in Bahia. Every month without fail, I'm blessed to be able to help him out. And that really helps with the cost of the Academia. And this is important because these donations that I make every month to him do so much for the kids in his community. We don't say favela or periferia, but it's an old, really challenging neighborhood where he is. And a lot of the kids just really need a place to go. And a lot of them, for them, capoeira is a way to grow and also to stay off the streets, get some good mentorship, and most importantly, a chance to learn something that they can use as a skill in the future. As I mentioned before, in Brazil, capoeira is seen as a potential career. So I'm going to keep doing that. That has never stopped. And every month we send a little to support as best we can. As always, I'm happy to support important charities and give what I can and do what I can. This December, I'm going to be taking part in joining a new movement, a new charity project. Well, it's not brand new, but they were able to set up the international information. And let me tell you about a student I had here. He was a doctor here. He's a Madagascarian, and his name's Mirina. He's actually a supporter here, someone I love and I respect beyond what people might understand about me. And he is a plastic surgeon who came and did a 1 year or 2 year residency, I think 2 year residency at a plastic surgery school here in Japan. He had a postgraduate fellowship. So he was here, and now he's back in Madagascar, and he's part of a charity program called Smile Train Madagascar. I've known him for at least 10 years, and I have a deep and profound respect and love for him. He works for the NPO project Smile Train Madagascar. And what it is, for some reason, I don't know the direct reason, but he's mentioned this before to me, is in Madagascar, there's a very high rate of cleft lip. I'm wondering if I'm saying that right. It's when people are born, or kids are born, and like the lip is split down the middle due to some kind of a genetic deficiency, or I'm not sure how it works, but it's a charity that he's been doing. And what his charity does is they bring the kids to the clinic, and then they, through cosmetic surgery, they fix it. And I've seen some of the pictures, and these children are so cute and so adorable. And it's something that he does from the bottom of his heart, and something that I really want to get involved with. And this will be a new charity that I'll be taking under my Capoeira Zoador wing, of course, also under Patreon and everything. And this December, I want to do the first charity event, and you guys going to help me with that. I'm going to separate some Patreon funds. And I'm going to create an event. I'm going to ask a lot of friends who are musicians and performers to come out. I'm going to do a lot. And then all the proceeds I want to send. Here's how it works. Basically, 55,000 yen, I don't know what that is now in dollars, but it's about, let me get my calculator here real quick. 55,000 yen, I don't know if that's still the same anymore, is about $343. And for that amount of money, he can, in Madagascar, they will bring the child to the clinic and operate on their cleft lip and fix it up for them. And this creates a whole new world for the children, and who are, innocent. And they just, I don't know how to explain it, but I'll post some of the pictures here and there. But when they're born, the lip might be like halfway cut down the middle or up towards the nostril. It gets infected. It's really hard for the kids. And after this operation where they sew it together through cosmetic surgery, it really changes the whole life of the child. So this is something that I'm going to be getting involved with. It's Smile Train Madagascar, December, sponsored by Mestre Vibes Patreon community and Mestre Shukuri Capoeira Zoador, and anyone else who wants to come out. I'm going to be doing this special charity event. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to go all out. Guys, I can't thank you enough for helping me to do everything I do. My goal is to reach my next milestone and grow as much as a Mestre of Capoeira, an artist, an educator, a charity organizer, and most of all, contribute to the world in my own special way. If you want to be a part of all of what I do and get access to everything, become a supporter here on Patreon. Let's go. Lots of love, lots of peace, and lots of capoeira. Mestre Sukuri.